Well, hello there, folks. I don't believe I'm doing this, but I am. Right. Agony Uncle Part 1. Yes, as I said earlier, if you've seen the message, I've actually had a couple of people message in, both sent emails. And this one that we're going to cover today is from a young lady called Mandy. For all those that know a Mandy that regularly visits the channel and regularly messages, it isn't that one. With a Mandy from across the sea there in that there island who follows the horse racing and came over, I think, from Mickey D's channel. It isn't that person. This Mandy, I didn't know this person's name because it's somebody that hides behind one. I don't mean hides, but has one of those, like a pseudonym or whatever else that most have on here. She assures me that it's a proper voice, a proper name. She's married, and there's a third party in this. It's not what you think, by the way. There's a third party in this called Kevin. That isn't his real name, but she wanted to change his name for his anonymity, and also in case her husband ever sees this. I started to do this video, folks, and it's not like me to re-record anything. It went on for 7-8 minutes, and I'm struggling to read bits. I've got the bins on, and I'm looking close to the email and whatever else. One word I couldn't work out at all what it is, and then when I realised it just sounded stupid when I finally said it, because I should have known how to pronounce it and didn't. Another bit I couldn't understand, and then I missed one line out, and I had to restart. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I don't want to get it wrong, because this is the first one. And also, it got to me a little bit, this, as in, when I say got to me, I felt sorry for this young lady, to be honest with you, and I want to get it right. So what I've done instead is I've just got some bullet points. I'll put the bins on in a minute and read from the bullet points. The story came in at about 10 this morning, I believe. I read it about 3:30, 4 o'clock today, and she said she'd like me to wear it whenever I want to. She's happy for me to, which obviously I'm going to do now. It'll be out at 9 o'clock tonight. I've announced it earlier. It's the first one through. I've had 2 messages through, but the other gentleman doesn't want his story to go out there yet. In fact, I don't know his story. It's to do with mental health, and he said he wants to see if this series has any legs, and to see how I approach things and the things I say, and whether he's comfortable, and when he's more comfortable about coming out the other side, because he says he's getting better, he's had some issues, he thinks it's something he might want to wear, but not at this moment, and that's fine, no problem. But Mandy came on, as I said, this morning. I've only read it later on today, and I thought, great, it gives me something to go through. But I want to get it right, and with the bullet points I've got here, I mean, it will be right. Now, what I've got to say to you folks is, I'm a bit weird, me, as in I'm black and white. It's the way I am. I think those that have been with me for a while and watch the channel will know that anyway. I don't tend to sit on the fence and have a middle ground. By the way, I'm not always right, and I know I'm not. But as I say, I think my advice normally holds a fair bit of weight for many people. And I'm normally on the money, although I'm obviously going to be wrong from time to time. But the thing with me, folks, as I say, I'll listen to a story, I'll listen to both sides, I'll take both things in before forming an opinion, but I tend to form an opinion pretty quickly, and I am very much black or white. I'm either that or I'm that. There tends to be no middle ground for me. Now, you'll get some people, if this series has any legs and people start to message in, I know what some people are like. Some people will send you a message, they'll want an opinion of you, but they'll want the opinion to suit what they're thinking, and to make them feel better about things and better about themselves. That's no good with me. If you're messaging anything in and you want an opinion, it's going to be an 100% honest opinion, the way I see things. Sometimes that opinion will upset you or not what you want to hear, but it's what I'll give you, because that's what I'm doing. I don't shirk things, I don't shirk issues, I just tell you as I see it and what I think to be right. If that doesn't suit your narrative and suit you, don't message in to start with, because I'll only tell you what I think. But that's the great thing about having this channel and about having a comment section. Because what I want is, here we've got a good few people on the channel already. It's a channel that's going places and doing well, and I'm really pleased. It's a channel that's all about talking, but it's your channel as much as it's mine. When I say to you all the time, folks, if you've got anything you want me to cover, any subject at all, just tell me. And as long as I know anything about it, I'm willing to cover it. I mean it, and we've done it from time to time. It's the same with this. This might seem weird, as I say. People are going to say, well, what are you all about? What are you? You're no agony uncle. You know nothing about nothing. You're just an old bloke in a bed, in a studio, talking to a laptop. And to a great extent, you're right. But that said, sometimes there's some people out there got issues and got problems, and they like to share them, and they like an opinion, and that's what I'm going to give. But because we've got a community, and a community that's growing, and some people have been with me for a number of weeks and months, You can have an opinion, folks, and I want you to. And I want it whereby we've got a bit now of banter between yourselves where I'm not included, when I'll put a video up and you'll have an opinion and someone else will give you theirs and vice versa, and you'll message. I like that. And as we get bigger and get a bigger community, we'll get more of that. And that's the idea with this. So when I air Mandy's story in a minute and tell you what she said and then tell you what I think, many of you, if you want to get involved, can do, but many of you can say amongst yourselves, you know, what you think and where I'm wrong and whatever else. And, you know, Mandy might even come on herself and have things to say to people. She might not want to do that. I don't know. That's up to yourself, Mandy. If people comment in and you want to add your two penneth and whatever else and, you know, reveal yourself to an extent, we're never going to use your real name because I don't know what it is other than Mandy. You tell me it is. I don't know her last name. I don't know where you're from. I don't need to. But if you want to get involved in discussion further down the line, you can. But you don't have to. So, I've set the scene. I bet we've gone 2 or 3 minutes in already. We've gone 6 minutes in. But it won't take over long, this, because it was a long piece that she sent to me. A long, long piece. And I read them slowly to get bits wrong, so I'm having to go back and do. But I've just done bullet points here, so it'll be much easier to go through, and so will my response at the end. Right, Mandy. She's in her 40s now. I don't need to tell you what age. She told me it doesn't matter. She's got 2 kiddies, one in her late teens and one in the very early 20s. She's been married to her husband now for over 20 years. She's put the exact times in there. It doesn't matter. She's not given me his name. That's fine. I don't need it. And there's a third party in this story, a guy called Kevin. That isn't his real name. She doesn't want to use his real name. She says she watches the channel on a regular basis, as does her hubby. She said her hubby tends to watch for the horse racing and football. We'll look at rugby from time to time, but not often, and he's looked at other sports. He doesn't watch much else unless it's about somebody that he knows or likes. She watches it for most everything else, she says, and she watches it. She does likes a lot to do with TV, and she likes the bits of the people I'm calling and whatever else. She said something along the lines of most everybody that I call, she agrees with. She doesn't like them. The odd one that I praise, she tends to agree with. So she says she's very much on the same page, and she likes me sense of humour. You must be mad, Mandy. But anyway, she said she loves the channel, but she tends to watch it at different times than her husband. Anyway, she says she's in IT. She won't name the company because it's a well-known company in the town that she lives. And she says about 8 or 10 months ago now, somebody joined the company. No, I've got that wrong. Somebody came from another department. It'd be IT, that's weird. I need to relook at that. She said from another department in the same company to the department she was working in. Unless there's 2 departments in IT, I don't know. And she said, we'll call him Kevin, it's not his real name. She said, and from day one, they just got on. And within 3 or 4 weeks, they'd often have lunch together or break times together. Sometimes she might be with a friend, or he may be, but regularly they were on their own, and they had a great sense of humour. She said, now the background to her story is, she's in her 40s now. She said, from before I got married, I had lots and lots of friends and went out on a regular basis. She said, since I've got married, I went out less and less and less. And she said, now, if I get out twice a year with friends, that's twice a year more than some years, I tend not to get out. I have no social life. My social life has died. But I've not been that concerned, she said, because I've got the kids and my world. She said, now my husband, she said, he's an absolutely wonderful fellow. A wonderful fellow. He's an absolutely wonderful father, just a great father. She said, but I've realised over the last 4 or 5 years, but more so over the last 8 or 10 months, he's just not a wonderful husband. He still has a social life. He plays football 2 nights a week. He plays darts 1 night a week with his friends, and he goes to watch the football once a week, sometimes twice. His team are away from home, they're not near where we live, so he travels regularly to see them at home games, and he can be out most of the day. She said, but as I say, he's a great guy. My family absolutely love him, they adore him, and his family really like him, and they should. He's a great guy, got lots of friends. My friends like him, although they don't see much of him anymore because I don't see much of my friends. But over the last 18 months, my confidence has gone on the wane a little bit, and she said it's gone on the wane because she'd put on some weight, which she wasn't happy with, couldn't really lose it, she said, but she'd put on the weight because she was at home a lot on her own and was probably just eating more than she should. And she wasn't over the moon with her life. She said, and then this guy came into her life called Kevin, she said, who was a breath of fresh air. We got on really well. He was really funny. He's seen things from my point of view, lots of things to do with life. He was very much somebody that liked to be around women than guys. said he was not gay or anything, not that you have to be, because he's got a wife and a couple of kids himself. But I thought the world of him, and he often used to say to the husband, my husband, I'd come home, he said, you happy today? He said, yeah, but you had a good day. He said, what, great at work? He said, yeah, I've met a new pal at work, a fella. I told him about him, called Kevin, and he was great, and we got on and whatever. And often he'd ask about Kevin. He said, she had a month or two in, which is about 8 or 9 months ago now, maybe a little bit longer. One day, and I noticed that he changed a little bit, my husband that is, and started sniping a little about Kevin, and I didn't get it. And then after 6 or 8 weeks of this, he said to me one day, I'm not happy. Is there much more to read on there? No, because I know the rest. I'm not happy with you being so friendly with Kevin. She said, what do you mean? There's nothing in it. He said, no, I'm not happy with it at all. She said, well, I never see him, and I never see him out at work or whatever. It's only in work, and there's nothing in it. He's married, he's got kids, and I'm not happy. Anyway, it got worse and worse, and it got to the stage where my husband was saying to me, if you carry on seeing him, you'll regret it. But he didn't say what I meant by regret it. I don't know if he meant he was going to do something to Kevin or cause a scene at work. I don't know what he meant. She said, but I didn't get it. She said, but the thing is with ourselves, how we are at home is, we don't even have a joint bank account. She said, I have a bank account, and I put bits of my money in there, but bits. The bulk of my money goes into our main account, and the main account's run by my husband. He pays all the bills. It's unusual in a lot of households, but he's always been that way. But he's great with money and great with figures, and I've never been as good for all I'm into IT, and I was happy for him to do that. But he runs sort of everything there, and he always has done, which has been fine. But we got to the stage about 3 months ago now where we had an almighty argument one night, and it turned out he's really, really jealous and envious of Kevin, but he's got nothing to be jealous about. And he said to me, he said, look, he said, I don't want you having anything to do with him. The argument got that bad, it almost got physical. When I say almost, it never hit me, but he came close. The next day I noticed out of my bag, my debit card had gone from my own account, and it had gone, and I've not had it since. But also the day after, he took my phone. So he left me without a phone and without a debit card. And he didn't want me contacting anyone. He said he'd lost trust in me, and I didn't understand it because I could still see Kevin at work because I work with him. You know, my husband's not there. I still see him at work, but I really think he was thinking that I was having an affair and whatever else. I have 1 day off a week. I do a 4-day week, 8 hours a day, but I have every Thursday off. And I think my husband couldn't keep check on me because my husband works full time and a couple of days a week works away from home. And many weeks it happens to be a Thursday. And I think he's thinking I'm meeting up with somebody, but I never am. It turns out that he gets his brother calling at our house most every Thursday in the daytime now. It never happened before, but since this argument, he calls round every second or third week. Just says he's in the air, is there anything they need? He's never done it before. He has no reason to call around. I think it's my other half trying to find out where I am and if I'm out of the house. And it's just got worse, and I feel like a prisoner. And that was basically the story. But she's sort of saying, what do I do? I think she ended with, what should I do? What she said, do I need something else? Do I need somebody else? I feel all alone. I feel like I'm being controlled. I can't believe I'm in my 40s now, and I don't have access to any money because my debit card's gone and my phone's gone. And I know it's wrong, but I can't tell anybody. My own family think the world of him, and his family do too, and I just don't know what to do. And that basically, folks, was it. And I thought, geez, what a hard-hitting story for your first one. I definitely didn't expect that. But as I started to read it, well before I've got to where I've got to now, I thought, well, there's only one way for her. She needs him gone. She needs out of the house, simple as that. Now, I've not messaged back to see, is the house hers? Is it his? Do they share it? I'm guessing it's a joint mortgage. There's no woman in the world, Mandy, I'll tell you now, lovey, there's nobody in the world that should be able to control anybody else. No man should control any woman, or vice versa. In many countries, men are the dominant species over women, and women get treated crap. You live in Great Britain now, I don't know if it's England, Ireland, Scotland or Wales, wherever you live, I don't know, but you live in a place where we're not like that. We don't bring folk up to be like that, or we try not to be. But at the end of the day, you're holding down a full-time job in a proper working environment. You're in IT, so obviously you're a clever girl, lady, whatever it may be. How on earth can any bloke take your debit card off you and your phone off you and say you've got access to nobody? You know, I don't know how you go on. I've not messaged back. I don't know how you go on when When your friends or family want to ring you, what do they do if he's got your phone? Has he got rid of it? I don't know. Do you get it at night time off him or weekends when he's there? How does that work? I don't know. What excuse would you or he give them for you to not have a phone when you've always had a phone? The whole thing seems absolutely strange. So the phone bit, I really don't get how you get over that. I don't get how you explain that away to folk, or how he explains it away. The debit card thing, I mean, why should you be left with no money? It's just absolutely crazy. I just don't get it. But what I don't get is this, Mandy. You say it happened about 3 months ago now. I don't get why you're still with him. You just need to dump him, love. Just walk away. So you put on a little bit of weight. Don't worry about it. I would imagine you start losing it pretty quickly with the worry of things, because worry tends to do that to you. Although you'll have less worries when you dump him. You may have been with him for many a year. You may have 2 kids. You may well love your kids. You've probably not told the kids what's going on. I bet you've not. You've not put that in your email, which, I bet they know nothing. But I know when they find out what's going on, I know whose side they'll be on, and it won't be other halves, no matter how good he is with them. You need to tell your family. You need your family to know, because until you get them out of the house, which really, if it's in both names, you should get with the kids. But whether or not you might need someone to live in the meantime, you need to get rid, love. Just get him dumped and get rid. He might be the greatest father in the world. He might be a great human being. But he can't treat his wife like that. He can't treat any other adult like that, be it woman or male, man or woman. He's just not on. You're being controlled of, and you know you are. Just walk away. I would suggest you tell your mum or your dad, whoever you're closest to. I would suggest you get one of them to go with you to a solicitor. Not let your other half know that that's what you're doing initially. Go and see a solicitor. Get advice. Show him the email that you've sent me. Show him the email that you've sent to me. Tell him how you feel. Get some advice before you do anything. But I would either look at walking out the house or getting him out the house. You never know. The shock, the jolt might change him. It might give him a different husband, and you might persevere. But I'm not so sure you would. Anyone that can do that to a woman, he's no good, love it. No good at all. You need to get rid. And it's the fear of the unknown, jumping into the unknown, being on your own and starting off all over again. You're in your 40s, you'll be starting again. You might not be happy on your own. You might want somebody. You've lived with somebody all your life. You've got used to that. Many people can't live on their own. Some can. Many can't. But you'll find somebody else. If you're a good person, I have no doubt to think anything else, you'll find somebody. There's somebody out there for everybody. Might take 6 months, might take 12 months, might take 6 years, but you'll find somebody. You'll have half a house there, no doubt. You'll have your debit card back, or a debit card. Get half his money, get half of everything you both own, see that you don't get done, and get divorced. Just walk away, love. If you can change him, if he'll turn the corner and change them, fine, but I'm not so sure he would. Anybody that's willing to do that to a partner can't be any good. This is really hard hitting for the first one, love it, but you just need to make the break. You need to make the break. Because I'll tell you what your alternative will be. Your 40s, now let's say you're mid-40s, you're not giving me yet, say you're 45, you stay with him for another 30 years, you live to 75, in what isn't a great marriage, and what's probably nothing nowhere near a great marriage. You're being controlled. This thing with Kevin, is it Kevin, might end in 6 or 12 months. You might leave your job, Kevin might leave, your husband might give you your debit card back in your phone, but how could you ever forgive that? You can't. You might get another 2 or 3 years in, or 5 years in, and think, no, I should have done it 2 years ago, I'm going, that's it. And that's fine, so you might do it in the end anyway, but why waste 2 more years? Why waste 3 more years, 4 more years? Do it now, love it. The sooner you do something, the sooner you look at getting your life back to how it should be, and as a life, and as an adult with their own mind and being able to make your own decisions, the sooner you do all of that, the sooner you'll feel better. But I don't know how you're coping with this, love. I don't know how you are. I feel so sorry for you, I really do. It's a hard-hitting one to start with. As I say, I started to read it earlier and I was getting it all wrong. So the bulk of it's done on memory, but I've read your story 3-4 times already. So I think I've familiarised myself with it enough. If I've missed the odd point, then I'm sorry. But I think you, Mandy, must know the answers to this, really. You just want somebody else to tell you the same. And I'm thinking you're thinking the same way as me, and that's what I'm doing here. But I'm not doing it because you want me to tell you the same thing. I'm doing it because it's the thing to do. But what I would say is, you might think you need to talk it through with him more and maybe look at getting out of this. No, I'm harder than that. You just need to go. There's no talking to be done, just go. Or get rid. The sooner the better. Legal advice first, love. and then ideally try and get them out of the house. If not, go yourself, but make sure you get half the house and everything that you both own. That's it from me. I don't know what you think, folks. You've watched this, viewers. What do you think? Let me know down below. What should she do? What do you think on what I've said? Would you agree with me, folks? Would you disagree? Welcome all comments. I do, and no doubt Mandy will. She'll no doubt read this. She may comment herself later. If you want to, Mandy, you can do. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The choice is yours. You can comment as well, Mandy, but without putting who you are in there, because as I say, I'm not letting them know what name you go under, so nobody's going to know you from that if you enter the comment section. And that's it. God, that's a really powerful one for a verse 1, I would suggest. I didn't expect that. I really didn't. I hate anybody controlling anybody, folks. I really do. I think it's wrong. And it doesn't only happen male to female, it happens the other way as well. I think there was that thing on the other night with the bloke whose wife used to beat him up for 5, 10, 50 years, recently been jailed. It's not on. You can't live in that kind of relationship. You can't have anybody controlling you. You've got to do something about it. And the sooner you do something, the sooner you get your life back. Thinking about it and doing it are two different things. You've got to do it. Thinking about it doesn't make you any better. Doesn't get you to the right place. Doing something does. Anyway, that's it. Glasses on, and I'll turn this off. And that's it, folks.